Evidently she didn't take it off the last time. No, they don't need the audio. You can get the audio from us if they want to just listen. All right, so and as we bring ourselves present to this moment in this space, I know that there is only one divine spirit, that there is one entity that flows in and through everything, that is here now, and that goes with us everywhere we go, and that comes with us everywhere we arrive. And I know that we are here by divine appointment. And I am so grateful. I feel so blessed that we are here this evening, sharing and setting our intention for an evening of love, humor, gratitude, and peace. And so as I say these words, I know that they are so. And so I say, and so it is. All right. So we have any kind of catch-up. We have to finish presentation, and I'm not talking about Heinz.
You said that after a line between, so that wasn't gotten.
I know. People were still not paying attention. A closing, and then I have my own thing I would like to share with you all this evening. And so, any reflections, any comments still about Dark Night of the Soul? Has anything else come up for you even since our discussion last week? And Amanda wasn't here. Do you have anything that you would want to share about that exercise?
I kind of fell off the wagon the last couple of weeks. I was doing so good with everything. And
oh, I can't, what, you were going to read all of this while you were driving and playing?
Well, but I kind of, well, yeah, I would have, but
your
yeah.
sister was in the car.
I think because I had gotten off of my schedule like the week before, because everything was kind of happening, and I got all these jobs, and I started getting busy and
Yay.
Making money and doing this kind of stuff, and then this just kind of went.
Okay.
Which I wasn't happy about, but apparently I didn't.
The exercise, Dark Night of the Soul, how did that?
I, didn't know.
You don't know?
No.
Do you remember?
That's the one we did in class with the Post-it notes.
Oh, that! Those are right here. I saved them because I really liked it a lot. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I've got my I am thing here.
Yeah.
And see, look at it.
We're going to do that again tonight. Nice.
Really?
Oh, that's really nice.
I really
like
liked
a vision board kind of.
So,
that's very cool.
And I liked all the things that I got, and I wrote more stuff, and
okay.
I really liked it.
Well, good.
I just forgot what it was called.
Well, it's just that enthusiasm just solved everything.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any other reflections or anything about anything that we've read or that we're doing? No? Okay, then should we finish with our presentations? And
can I go first since I'm just kind of winging it?
Certainly.
Go for it, girl.
So I have to go up there?
No?
Okay.
Do you want us not to record it?
No, I don't care.
Okay.
We're recording voice, right?
We can.
Yeah, we leave the recorder. You can turn off that. You can continue.
Close the
listening,
shutter. That's what I'm doing.
Or I'll draw another picture on there. But on Sunday, I had 3 comments from people who are following this class. 2 of them are new to the center, and they were like, "Oh my God, you're Kate Grayson!" Like I was like, "Yeah."
Kate Grayson. Dr. Grayson.
Anyway, so it's important, I think, that and that one of them was, "Thank you for being more inclusive of your online community." So I appreciate that. So let's let them listen in, even though they can't see you.
Okay. All right. So I would like to say that I normally don't wait till the last minute to do reports and stuff like that, but that would be a big fat lie. But I usually wait till the last minute, but then get them done. But when you wait till the last minute and don't have any sleep and your phone is dying, it puts a little kink in. And then I thought I had 1 more week, so I kind of was falling asleep
Yeah.
at the end. So this might be totally not what I'm supposed to do, but I'm okay with that. And it probably won't all make sense. But so one of the things that I was kind of running around in my head is the whole, what makes a person a mystic, which, kind of should have that in my head after this whole class, but, because I put somebody on there that wasn't on the list, and it's like, well, is she really, or am I just saying that she is because I like her poetry? It's Mary Oliver, so,
Okay.
and I mean, in my mind, she is, but so I looked up this definition that fits with what was in my
What's your name again?
Mary Oliver.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know.
And it says, for a mystic, the divine is in every aspect of their life, and they're contacted by the universe every single day. Every impulse is a divine direction. And then there was a little bit more, but that kind of made it jive with what I feel from Mary Oliver and her poetry, and how the thing that strikes me about her, and there's not really a lot of information, and I mean, I found a couple of interviews, but she's a very private person, so she does all of her communication really through her poetry, which is quite a lot, but oh snap, what was I saying? Okay, I'll look at my notes. I had a point that I was going on there.
Definition of a mystic?
That was a good
It was about being present. And that's that's just something that seems like keeps coming up with her and everything, in interviews, and she didn't have a great childhood, and she just kind of escaped into nature, and that's where she felt the best. And luckily she took a pad and a pencil with her, and she would just write down thoughts as she was walking, things that were just coming to her and coming through her, and then she would go back later and turn it into poetry.
Wow.
So
Cool.
she was sent to Sunday school in church when she was little, and she says that she had a trouble with the resurrection, and so she didn't really ever connect with church. She was connected with the spiritual part of it, but never really identified with any religion. And actually, she is a very big fan of Rumi, which I thought was interesting, and she reads him every day. She says that she doesn't have all the answers, but I know life is much richer with a spiritual part to it. And I wanted to I was going to read a poem, but the poem I wanted to read, I can maybe read this other one. So I've got 3 poems, and the first one is, hold on, I gotta find it. Remember, no sleep. This first one is it's from an interview. This lady that interviewed her daughter had an assignment to memorize, okay, I can't do 2 things at once here. To memorize a Mary Oliver poem, the Summer Day, which when you hear it, you'll know it. And so she did it. She did this when she was in 6th grade, and the lady that's interviewing Mary Oliver played this recording for her. Hopefully you can hear it.
The summer day.
Can you hear it?
Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean. The one who has flung herself out of the grass. The one who is eating sugar out of my hand. She lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
It's a beautiful reading.
Is that fun for you to hear?
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Sixth grade?
Yeah, 6th grade, and you know, it really, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting how that struck me with the kid reading it and reciting it, not reading it, and how I guess I never really thought of presentation as being part of poetry, because I usually just read it, so it's my voice. But I thought that was interesting. This other one is Mary Oliver reading one of her poems. Hopefully, am I out of time?
No.
Okay. All right. And there's so many references to prayer and spiritual type things, but she just does it in a way that it's like almost just kind of being snuck in, or just natural, or not preachy. She's just stating a fact and obvious things that if you stop and take the time to look and listen, that anybody would know, hopefully.
I don't know where prayers go or what they do. Do cats pray while they sleep half asleep in the sun? Does the opossum pray as it crosses the street? The sunflowers, the old black oak growing older every year? I know I can walk through the world along the shore or under the trees with my mind filled with things of little importance in full self-attendance, a condition I can't really call being alive. Is a prayer a gift or a petition, or does it matter? The sunflowers blaze, maybe that's their way. Maybe the cats are sound asleep, maybe not. While I was thinking this, I happened to be standing just outside my door with my notebook open, which is the way I begin every morning. That a wren in the privet began to sing. He was positively drenched in enthusiasm. I don't know why. And yet, why not? I wouldn't persuade you from whatever you believe, or whatever you don't. That's your business. But I thought of the wrens singing. What could this be if it isn't a prayer? So I just listened, my pen in the air.
Does it say what book or the name of that?
That one is I Happen to Be Standing.
Okay.
That's from 1,000 Mornings.
Thank you.
And she just turned 80 last year, I believe. She lives in Florida now. She still is writing poetry and different. I mean, she's in New England for so much of her life and most of her poems. And when you read her poems, she has such good descriptions of the animals and the wildlife and the scenery that it really it's like you're there. And so now she's in a different environment, but still with water and that kind of stuff. I think that was it.
Okay.
I could probably make something up.
That was great.
Yay.
Wow. That was great.
Good, okay.
I've heard her before, but I've never really paid much attention,
I'm not
this was nice.
really a poetry fan per se, but I went to a retreat through I went to a Lutheran church in Wisconsin, and one of the pastors that was from another church, but I loved him, he was great. He would do weekend retreats at St. Norbert's Abbey in Green Bay, and the first one he did was on Mary Oliver's poetry. So that was the first I was exposed to her, and the summer day was a focus of one of them, and I just fell in love with it then.
Great. Well, if a Lutheran minister thinks she's a mystic. Sounds like it to me.
He's not your average pastor, so.
Thank you, that was nice. Who else?
I can go.
Okay.
So I started out, I was going to do one person, and then I didn't enjoy the book. I was not having fun. I was slugging through it, and so I did something completely different.
All right.
So if we were in Monty Python, it's now for something completely different. Mine is about Dorothy McLean, and she's one of the founders of Findhorn or Findhorn, and I don't know how to pronounce that. Findhorn? Cool. And so I'll just read a little bit about it. Findhorn is a small community in Scotland situated on the North Seas at a latitude that puts it as far north as Juneau, Alaska. It's a New Age community growing a garden that sounds like something out of a fairy tale. Roses and hawthorn, eucalyptus and honeysuckle, even growing 40-pound cabbages and 60-pound broccoli plants. It's a community working in cooperation between man, the divas, and the God within. At Findhorn, the founders address the landscape angel and the spinach diva like old friends, getting very sensible advice on planting and hoeing and watering the plants, who respond to this intimacy and kindness by getting ever bigger in the subarctic sand in order to support the many souls who live there. Since its rocky beginnings, the community is doing very well due to the wisdom and sanctity of its people, who receive all their needs in accordance with the law of manifestation. Ask and it shall appear. And so I will just tell you a little bit. I'll paraphrase it because it's so long. You would die 1,000 deaths and curl up in a little ball. She had a crazy, amazing life. She grew up in a place that was very small in a little Victorian house, and people asked her, so did you have any spiritual training or anything like that prior to as a child? And she said, no, I just had a constant need to know why we were here. And so she went into secretarial school, even though she wanted to be an artist. And she graduated, and she went off and joined the British Secret Service during World War II. And she met and married a man who was a wisdom seeker, who was a meditator and a person like that, and ultimately she married him. And then throughout the course of their marriage, it kind of started to fall apart. But during that time frame, she traveled the world. They went everywhere with the Secret Service. He was in the Secret Service too. And he was very secretive, wouldn't even teach her to meditate. And so she had to get her spiritual food where she could find it. So every time they went to a new town or a new city, she would get involved with a meditation group, or she was nominated to be, I don't know if nominated is the right word, but she was invited to join the Sufi community. So she did that. She worked with yogis, and every place they went, all around the world, all this philosophy and all this thought process. And through it all, she prayed and meditated every day, very spiritual. And ultimately, she and her husband divorced because of the secrecy and several other factors. And she says that it was only as her marriage started to crumble that she had the extraordinary cosmic experience of knowing that God was within. She said God was no longer a belief, but a reality, and I was part of that reality. I experienced myself as divine. I was no longer a lonely misfit, but part of a wonderful, joyous, loving universe. Friends remarked that she was different, in fact, that even her voice had changed. So then she lived in California for a while, and she began to call her meditation practice her journey into inner realms. She says, each day when I entered into inner realms, I was bathed in qualities of love, joy, peace, and harmony, through which ideas came and which my mind translated into words. The theme of these messages, worded differently each time, was basically always the same: to go within to God for everything, thus putting love first. She journaled all the information she received, and the following is one such entry. She says, draw near, draw nearer, with the movement of your heart. Let it expand into me. Let it bridge any space that might be perceived between us until there is just one big, glowing heart, so big that it holds up this universe. Let the wings of your heart bear you closer. Let them gently flutter a little nearer, bringing you closer to me without our awareness. Sneak into my heart, my comfort, into the protection of my wings. Nestle there. This is your home. From here you can fly with my messages, but this is your home. Feel at home in it until any other dwelling place makes you homesick, until any defense but the defenselessness of love and truth are contrary to you, until your whole life is that of love, and you take your home, my heart, with you to bring others home. And so I said I won't go into all her travels, but literally after she divorced, she still traveled all over the world. She bounced between England and Scotland and Buenos Aires and Puerto Rico. I mean, she just went everywhere. And she ultimately ended up in Scotland and met a couple, Peter and Eileen Caddy, and they were working in a hotel. They were managing a hotel, and they'd started this little spiritual study group. And a local newspaper got wind of what they were doing, and they interviewed them, and they were proud about what they were doing, and they verbalized it. And the hotel owner came to them and said, you're all fired. I can't have that. Your belief system is completely off. Go away.
Wow.
And so the Caddies owned a trailer on this little outcropping of land that was barren. It was sand and rock, and nothing would grow there. And they went to live there, and they tried to look for work, and they couldn't find work. And they prayed about it. There's a part in here. They didn't worry or get upset about it. They just went right to prayer and got the message that they were to grow a garden. And so they told the locals that they'd received this message. Somebody asked them, and everybody laughed and made fun of them. You're not going to grow a garden here. It's not going to happen. And so they took it back to prayer. They were even on government assistance at this point because they had no money and no way to survive. And so she says she believed deeply in God energy in all things, and she began to communicate with the essence of the plants as they grew. She says that when it began, she realized how important it is to have inner strength and conviction when you enter into prayer. Reaching into newness out of need or lack creates an unstable condition, and genuine contact cannot be made. She said there just isn't resonance. So she began communicating with plants and the earth, receiving messages in her meditation with nature, much like the following. She says, you are pioneering in the true attitude to nature, to the one life. For this attitude, it behooves you to think of everything in terms of life force, not merely an impersonal force like electricity, but a manifestation of a being. Behind all is a great chain of life leading to me. So she says for the first 5 years, the garden was their daytime work, and they did their spiritual connections in the evenings. And they all literally communicated with what they called the energy of the flowers, vegetables, and herbs. And they received information on what to do and how to proceed. And she got this message during one of her meditations. When you think of us, remember that every conceivable part of life is alive. And if it is alive and a manifesting force, there will be a spirit of that force. We are a vast world ensouling many things, qualities as well as material things. For example, when you affirm something, when you repeatedly sound something, you tune into the spirit of that something and create it for yourself. All are linked and all are part of the one. As a group, they were directed to send love to the vegetables and imagine them as vigorous and healthy. They were told that a caring environment nourishes abundant life. She then began to communicate with animals, and then she communicated with the insects, and she got messages even from, they had a mole infestation, and So she went into meditation with it, and the way she talks about it is, she talked to the mole diva, like there was a representative of the mole group. And the moles all moved to an open field that she visualized them in, and so they didn't have a mole problem anymore. And then the crops just started growing and growing and growing, and people began to find out, and it was widely publicized. They had literally taken a barren rock outcropping that was mostly sand and created a garden of enormous, healthy plantings. And as a group, they transcribed the following guidelines to meet their needs as they did it. And if you really kind of listen to it, it kind of sounds like Religious Science 101. It says, make certain that what you want to manifest, well, this isn't really, is in God's will. Use whatever method you're familiar with to determine this. Attunement, sleeping on the idea, dreams, asking to be shown, and so on. Have a precise idea or a vision what's to be manifested. Make your needs known and take action. Publicize the need so that someone can be used to meet it. God works through people. Take the necessary steps toward the project. Know that God will meet the need. Have utter faith and belief that the need will be met. Give thanks that this is so, and give thanks again when the need is met, realizing that it's God's work and you are a co-creator. Today, Findhorn is a spiritual teaching center and garden. Its main focus is as follows: to create an environment that enables each one of us to deepen our connection with all of life and to open to transformation within ourselves and within the group. The invitation is to let go of limitations, open to love, and be the change you want to see in the world. Dorothy McLean is still living. She's 96. And the Eco-Village has been awarded the UN Habitat Best Practice designation from the United Nations and several other awards. And then I'd like to close with a quote by Chief Seattle. Humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. All things are bound together. All things connect. And then I had a little short movie. It's called, and you can write it down because I can't get a connection right now. It's called The Singing Plants at Damanhur, and it's Damanhur.
Say that again.
Damanhur, Damanhur. And they put electrodes on plants and attach them to a music source. I don't know exactly how they're doing it. There are 2 different videos you can look up. But when the plant's energy changes, it creates the most beautiful music you've ever heard. It's a really cool video. And then I copied about a bazillion. They're all poems about nature. And
From Dorothy McLean?
No, just from everything I could find.
Oh, okay.
How do you spell the name of the place?
Or quotes about, not poems.
The name of the
It's
place?
D-A-M-A, oh.
No,
Findhorn, it's Findhorn. And I read that book many years ago. It's called The Magic of Findhorn, and forgot about it. And then when I was researching this, the title of her book is Memoirs of an Ordinary Mystic, and then I remembered how much I loved it. So it wasn't hard to research it because it was kind of fun figuring out all the things they've done and for ecology and the world. And they believe that plants and energy have their, we're all one. So if we're all one, we're all one.
Right. Oh, thank you.
And there's a lot of experiments that have been done about how plants are affected by people's intentions. And the Pam Grout book, the E Squared, where you do
I love that book.
You do the 9 experiments, and one of them is with plants. And I did all the experiments, but I couldn't do the plant one because I couldn't.
Yeah.
Supposed to send nice and loving thoughts to one and then mean thoughts to the other one. I couldn't send the mean thoughts.
I think I love you. I can't do it either. And my husband just laughs at me. But I can't do it.
So there's that.
All right. Thank you. Well done. Isn't this the place in, what is that book? It's like the 12 something and then the 12 something and then something.
Oh yeah.
There's 3 books. No. Oh no. It's called called the Celestine Prophet,
Oh, the Celestine Prophecy,
and then their second one was called,
the path to something, wasn't it the path?
but it seems
Vision?
like he was, he got, you know, he was overseas and there was this whole drama going on, but he was here, wasn't he, in the book? In the third book, I think he ended up here as part of
As
a refuge.
in Findhorn?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, for some reason it's just ringing a bell, but
I don't know, but they were just gobsmacked by the way the plants grew, and they were just
Yeah.
literally communicating with them at a soul
Yeah.
level.
okay, well
Crazy.
done.
Oh, and look, you have a Mary Oliver.
No.
And it's called Memoirs of an Ordinary Mystic.
Mhm.
Okay,
And it's Dorothy McLean.
yeah. All right. Are you gonna go too?
I
You wanna
guess
go next? I'm gonna,
yeah.
wash my hands real quick, I've got something on them, so just
I'll
get
wait here.
yourself ready and I'll be right back.
What?
It's a mass exodus now that you're getting it.
I think one of the ladies in my Tai Chi class has lived there for a little while. If you're interested, you guys.
Okay.
I would love to talk to
That's
that
better.
person.
I think it was frosting
Still.
and things.
Yeah, it could be,
A
yeah.
little saliva.
And there was,
Okay.
well, my chosen one, my chosen mystic was Lao Tzu, not to be confused with Sun Tzu in the Art of War. Lao Tzu was a man of peace. Lao Tzu is a kind of an enigmatic figure because they believe he lived in between the 4th and 6th century BC. They believe he was a contemporary of Confucius. So they're not really sure. They know he lived, and so he's kind of a, like I said, enigmatic. He lived during the Zhou dynasty, and I looked at Taoism years and years ago, and then I took another look here. I've studied a lot of different things. Taoism is not a strict curriculum, but it's more of a way of observing. Tao is specifically means path, route, way, a free state from desires that do not serve, does not, whatever does not serve the balance. And this all led me to another strange, several nights on YouTube, which I'm not a big reader, but I do absorb knowledge, and it led me to Wayne Dyer and A Million Little Pieces, and he was talking about Taoism, and which led me into electrical engineering of over Unity and Tesla at least Scalnan and the like, and there's such, because it encompasses nothingness or seeming nothingness. In Science Mind teaching, we talk about, you know, the within and without, and looking at it scientifically, and we look at physics as well to back check us kind of and go, hey, this is all saying something here. And I got into physics and electronics and electricity and DC to AC and how they're powering this, and some guys in a shed are fixing this and doing something completely different that nobody ever thought of. except for like Tesla. And come to find out that Taoism is more of an observance, a quiet observance of the nothingness, the balance of the empty spaces. It talks about, and by the way, Lao Tzu never wrote anything. He just talked, and he spoke, and his followers wrote it down. So, and he spoke about the outside of a wheel, like a wagon wheel, is important. The spokes are important. But what's even more important is the interspaces between the spokes. Like with us, like with the things without us, the ether, if you will, all around us, is we don't create a lack or a need, we create a flow, and it flows through us in our actions and words and our deeds and our love, and physics teaches that in 1 cubic square centimeter of ether, nothing, supposed nothing, has more energy in it than all of the observable known universe. So it's inordinately powerful. It is not lack of substance, though that's our perception. It is full of more substance than even what we see. And there are some experimenters, one in British Columbia, that are working with electricity. To keep it short, changing DC to AC in a closed system and doing some wonderful stuff with 3-phase electricity and everything else. And what they're actually doing is creating this wonderful system that's over unity and provable over unity, meaning you get out more than you put in. And it's the most important thing in the entire really cool mechanisms of such is the one wire that goes over to the different capacitors. There's just one single wire. And what that wire does is, well, the whole thing literally creates a flow, and that one wire draws in more energy from the ether around everything, 40,000 volts worth from a little 4-horse engine, and electrical engineers are baffled. It shouldn't be doing that, but it's pulling in from the ether all around us.
Right.
So I went from a 4th, 6th century mystic to all of these things, all of these seemingly unrelated things, but yet they are all in their essence. And Lao Tzu talks about the wu wei, the non-action or nothing following with the movement, just being like in the grass, like just observing, and like we're taught, if you don't feel that you can do it properly with, and overfill your space and do it well with your heart in it and everything like that, don't wait till it's right. And that's what Lao Tzu was talking about. Being one, being present in that moment, and all moments after that, but in that moment, walking that path of understanding that what you can see is held together by what you cannot. And that is everything. That is divine. That is, so. I had written a little bit my point, my observance on Tao, because there are some other things in the world that are like Tao, just to be a quiet observer of even yourself and everything around you. Taoism, to me, or Tao, the way, is a conscious observance of who you are and where you are, noticing the beauty of the path and comprehending the oneness of life and all things. No ugliness, only appreciations, perfect thought, not complete, but present.
I like that. Yeah. I like that phrase a lot. Wow, these are cool. Well done. Well done last week, too. This is exciting. Who'd like to go?
Are you ready or not?
It didn't matter to me. Do you want to go?
You're not going to do one?
Oh, no, I've got mine. It says she asked if I wanted to go
Oh.
or she wanted, I don't care. Do you want to go now?
I don't know, as
Or you
a
wanna
group, we should probably get t-shirts that say the Mystics or something.
Oh, I think we
Team or
should.
something.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? I'd like
That
that.
would be awesome.
It would. They would only cost us like $10, $15 each. Huh?
Didn't we start out as like a field of 50 here and we were like whittled down?
The chosen mystics. And then we have to make sure that we don't use the same logo as the basketball team, but otherwise.
I'm a mystic, ask you why.
All right.
All right, well, I'm gonna kind of, it's been a journey, and it's only been, what, 2 or 3 weeks for me.
I'm so glad you've been here.
Yeah, so I started out, I looked down the list, and I went, oh, Lao Tzu. And then I heard that Drew was doing that, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, what next? And this little quiet voice within inside said, Teresa de Avila. And I'm like, who, what, where, why? You know? And I went, no, you know. Again, Teresa de Avila. No. Again, it came up again, and I just was resisting. I don't know why. And then Kate decides to give me this book. And so I look at this book, and I open it, and I love Carolyn Mays. I'm like, oh, cool. And then I open this, and the book is all about The Interior Castle by Teresa de Avila. I'm like, okay, I get the message.
What a coincidence.
So it's all your fault.
That's amazing.
Yes, perfect. So I read a little bit in here, and I went to the library and like pulled, the first book I had didn't even have her in it, but then I pulled and there's more about her. I really don't know a lot about saints. I knew, Saint Francis of Assisi I knew about, and like the animals and things. As a kid, I really connected with that, and St. Patrick, but that's about all I know about saints. So this has been a really interesting journey. But the first thing I read was this. On a cold May night in the year 1569, 2 old women in Toledo, Spain, thought the devil had been unleashed. Powerful poundings on the walls shook their bedroom. The plaster started to crumble in big chunks. Finally, half the wall came crashing down. Out of the huge hole in the wall stepped a pair of dust-covered figures dressed in black. They cheerily wished the trembling matrons good morning and apologized for dropping in unannounced. They were the Carmelites from the New Order of Mother Teresa of Avila. So I got donkey last week, tenacious. She was tenacious. And she's like, okay, I'm starting a new order, I'm starting a new convent, I'm doing it. And there's another quote in here about a bishop who said, somebody said, oh, she's going to start a new convent here. And his first reaction, well, then it's already done. There's no way that I'm going to stop it because of, So that was the first thing that I learned about her, was that she had this tenacious manner, and she's like, when she got something in her mind, she got it done. So that was in her later life, after she had her conversion, is what they called it, when she had her first mystical experience at the age of 39. So that's her later, kind of the later life. I'm going to jump back to her earlier life. She was from two powerful families in the Avila Castile area of Spain. And so she, kind of was well off and hung around and had fun. And she led a life where she loved to read, and she read about the martyrs and the martyrs going off, and the Moors were happening around there, the fighting with the Moors. And she heard about people going off to martyr and getting their heads cut off, and wow, aren't they awesome for doing this? is the way that she took it in as a kid. And she also was reading adventure literature of the day. And so as a kid, she and her brother took off to go find the Moors and become martyrs. But their uncle caught them en route, and they only received a thrashing, it said. So,
They didn't behead them.
right, yeah. So the next big thing that happened in her life, when she was a young teenager, her mom passed away, and so that's when her dad, I think it said in her autobiography that she prayed to Mother Mary to, will you please be my mother now? And just started to get that connection within Christianity and within the her parents' religion. Her grandfather actually was Jewish, and it was the Spanish Inquisition was coming through, and so he converted to Christianity at that time. So her father decided that she needed to have some female role models and some education, so he sent her to a college with the nuns. And it was there that she started learning to love life in a convent. And so she came out of college, and then she was wanting to go back into, take her vows, and her dad was kind of against it at that point, but she decided to go ahead and do it anyway. So she had a quiet, I forget the word, I don't know the word, anybody Catholic can hear, but how the way she entered in was very what's the word?
Unceremonious.
Yes. So then she said, during that time, she was really into the frivolity and social life of the convent. And so she would play the drum and tambourine, and she loved to cook and to eat, is what they said, in her early life. So she was all about that. And then she started having guilt about that. And the next thing that kind of happened was that she got really sick. And at first, most of the things didn't say online, it said that she might have had malaria. And so she was very sick, and she left the convent for a while, and she had some bloodletting and purges and things like that. So it was not a fun experience. However, there was a quote from her that she found her joy within the experience, and without her connection to the divine, she could not have endured it with such joy. And it was at 39, I guess what she did, she was walking past the statue of Jesus, and she fell down, and she kind of felt what he felt in the experience of being on the cross, and she was on the ground, and really felt like she embodied him in her body, and she could feel all the things that he felt. At first, she was like, oh, this must be of the devil or something like that. And Francis Borgia, who was, I'm not sure of the lineage there, but Rodrigo Borgia was the Pope. This was not the Pope. He told her, no, this has to be from God, and so, go ahead and share your experiences. And so she started to trust it. And so that I mean, it was just a very interesting and enthralling, what I've learned so far. And I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more. Her time period, she was born March 28, 1515, and she died October 4th, 1582. But what is interesting is her feast day is October 15th, and it's usually the day that you die. But that happened to be the year that they were doing a correction on the Gregorian calendar, the Reformation. And so it went from October 4th to the next day being October 15th. So that's why her feast day is so much different. I thought that was kind of
that's
interesting.
fascinating too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I never heard that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as far as what happened in her, so in 1582 is when she died. She was beatified in 1614. I've heard the word. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Do you know? Beatified.
That's when they make them a saint, isn't it?
Canonized is the next thing that happened in 1622.
It's when they first nominate them and kind of glorify them to see, and then they put it out for, they put it out kind of like so that people can comment and stuff, and isn't that it? We should look it up for the appropriate
I think they do.
definition. Yeah.
So in 1970, she became the first woman doctor of the church. So that was kind of cool. So she did write several works. The Life, The Way of Perfection, The Mansions, or it's also called The Interior Castle. And they have, Carolyn Mace has it as, she calls it Entering the Castle. So she bases this book on The Interior Castle. And then also she wrote a book called The Foundations. So, yeah, as much as I push it away, I'm like, okay, I still want to learn more. A lot of her mystical events was that she was seen to levitate by the other nuns in the convent in some of her mystical
How do they
experiences.
spell that?
What?
BFI?
Beatified.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So and that was where I had kind of made another connection with my journey. Was I was in one of my first classes here, and I was doing one of my first treatments with a prayer partner. We had gone, and I was with Thomas, and I was praying, or I was doing my spiritual mind treatment with Thomas, and all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, she's levitating," or something like that. And so it was just kind of, I mean, I wasn't actually, but I definitely, by the time we were done, my hands were like up here. And so it was just a kind of neat connection that was one of her things. That so I do notice that things feel lighter when I make my, I get out of the outer world and go into the inner world. So that was kind of cool. There was something, I wanted to read two quotes. One's here and one's here. So from Teresa herself, it says, contemplative prayer, in my opinion, is nothing else than a close sharing between friends. It means taking time frequently to be alone with Him who we know who loves us. So making that connection with the divine is the way I took that. And this is her on her bookmark. I guess if that's your patron saint, or if you want to have this. This is one of the quotes that I've seen. I've seen it written several different ways, like a modernized version, but this is the one that I like the best. Let nothing disturb you, nothing affright you. All things are passing. God never changes. Patient endurance attains to all things. The one who possesses God wants for no thing. God alone suffices. And so my big takeaway with her is that she really got that communion connection with the divine within her. One of the things that I found along the way, I had heard a long time ago that the nuns wore rings and were saying that they were married to Jesus. She was the one who created that, She was the inspiration for that. So I never knew that. So that was, but just really, the mystical part of it is really making that divine connection within. And she, so that's what I love about my experience.
Well, the definition actually equates it with being canonized.
Okay.
So it's not. I thought it was a preliminary piece, but it's not.
Well, I mean, as far as because it says
to announce it's to make holy, rare. He was beatified by the Pope, canonized, blessed, sanctified, hallowed, consecrated. All of those words are essentially the same.
It does sound like it is kind of a process, because there was, 7 years in between the beatifying and canonizing.
They always
that's
vote
great.
for, nominate basically.
Right.
And they have like a long process before that happens.
Well done.
Yay!
Very nice.
A new person, by the way, that just got sainthooded, I don't know what it's called, is Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
She became an official saint.
You're going to do something? No.
And how do you spell Avila?
Avila.
Cool.
Okay, so we're not going to take a break today. We're just going to push straight on
What?
through, and we'll probably be done about 7:30. So Drew, you're going to be okay?
7:30, it's past
8:30.
Well, you know.
We're
Should be out in the wine.
back in time.
Room full
We're
of
going
mistakes, we can make it up.
back in time.
I don't know. Okay, everybody concentrate.
Bedtime.
Slowing down time.
All right.
Mine's about Albert Einstein. And he was a theoretical physicist, among the most profound thinkers of the 20th century. He engineered the theory of general relativity and special relativity after winning the Nobel Prize in 1921, so he was a contemporary of Ernest Holmes. Einstein was clearly solidified as one of the most influential people ever. He isn't known only for his great mind or scientific accomplishments, but the man was also wise beyond his years, even in older age, and was insightful, philosophical, and witty at the same time. He was remarkably well-rounded, and his brilliance left its mark. These are some of our favorite quotes of his that demonstrate the brilliance quite well, and I'm just going to read a few of the quotes. Excuse me. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. The difference between genius and stupidity is that genius has its limits. Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible. And reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. And there's more. I'm not going to read all of them.
All right. All right. Well done. What prompted you to choose Einstein?
I just always really resonated with his quotes and stuff about the philosophical stuff.
Okay, good.
I'm a fan of Einstein as well, and I think he said, I think it was him that said, the more advanced the mind, the more the need for childish play. And he was a great prankster, and apparently he was a cut up and a beautiful human being.
And he did a lot of stuff with his daughter.
Can you repeat the quote?
I think it was, I'm paraphrasing, it may not have been him, but I think it was from him. It was the more advanced the mind, the more the need for childish play. You know, so, and so he would just like throw everything, and you know, I think at his death, there was a picture of his desk the day he died. It's like cluttered, his stuff all stacked up, and it's like, you know, you would think it'd be pertinent.
Yeah. Someone told me that when he was a kid, he had problems with school,
Oh, yeah.
and they said he wouldn't get very far in school.
Yeah, they sent him home with a note to his mother, basically, but she didn't read the note to him this way. Well, she read the note to him saying, you're so advanced they don't know what to do with you, and so I'm going to teach you from home now. And he found the note on her after she died, when he was going through her papers, that we can't deal with him because he's never going to get anything, never going to get anywhere, yada yada, yeah.
Basically, he's too stupid, he can't learn.
Yeah.
Right.
Send him home. Yeah.
He was high on the autistic spectrum,
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
he?
I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well done. Is it okay if we just keep going, or do you want to take a break and drag this on out for another 45 minutes? Okay. That's easy. That's okay. You're gonna be all right. So, mine is just all of you, actually, but it comes forth from the readings that we had. And then I have something I want to read you.
I'm going to turn this on for you.
All right, and then I have something I want to give you, and I have a poem that I want to read as well. And then I would like us to do the closing. We can either, you know, take a moment, write a new affirmation to leave, the other option. Let's do that. We'll take a moment when we're all done to write a new affirmation, and we'll go around the room and support each other by, you know, saying, and so it is, or so you are, like that, again. And that sounds like a good one to me. How do you feel about that?
Yay.
Anyone else have anything that you'd like to add to all of that
I
tonight?
want to hear option number 2.
Option number 2.
There's always one.
There is always in a class. It was just something more to do with the I am, because that's what I'm reading about. But I think that comes with the affirmation, and so we are. Maybe if, as we say it, we say, and so I am, as we say are, but whatever.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
That's a mouthful.
I'm glad. Did you last Sunday? I'm glad Barbara clarified that. I love the way she did that.
Did what?
Clarified and
I
so
was
it is.
doing high watch.
Oh,
I was
okay,
really
yeah.
listening.
And why was it? And so it is.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was just yeah.
Still don't know because I was doing
Okay.
high watch.
Well, because of all the things say, we will get better as opposed to it is.
Oh, yeah. I'm nodding at you like, yeah, but no.
Well, perhaps you can see it online.
Oh, yes, that's right. Or I can get the CD because I did the high watch. Yes, so, okay. Now, I don't know why I like this, but Martha Graham said this to Agnes DeMille in 1943. Do y'all know who Martha Graham is?
Yeah.
She's a great dancer.
She's a choreographer, yeah.
Legendary. She's just amazing. And she actually just died fairly recently. She was fairly old. But she said, "It is your business to keep the channel open. Out of such transparency of the human heart, things of value are created, and we are created. Such openness requires 2 ongoing devotions. The risk to slow the pace of creation, where all things join, and the courage not to just let through whatever comes up, but to sing it through. The courage to voice what we experience, the way a coyote howls out of a visceral joy at being a living thread in this living tapestry." I love that, and it's exactly what Drew was saying about Taoism and stuff. And so being present and at the same time.
What page are you on with that?
Pardon?
What page are you
81, that's 81 in the 7,000 Ways, and he starts it with a quote by Graham. But then she goes on, and if you, I'm a real big person to read footnotes, and in the footnote it says, Martha said to me very quietly, there is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will not have it. And it is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours, clearly and directly, to keep that channel open. I love that. I love that. And she goes on a little bit with that. She says, you do not have to believe in yourself or your work. You just have to keep yourself open and aware to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist is ever pleased. So, so that, because, you know, I love that book. And then along those same lines in the Foundations of Mysticism, on page 352, is where Goldsmith starts talking about the I am. And he says, the healing agency is your realization that God's universe is intact, and therefore I am intact. For all that God is, I am. And all that Spirit manifests is mine. He actually says, and all that the Father hath is mine, but I change things because I have that, you know, all man, all girl thing going on. And so all that the Spirit manifests is mine. Which, and then we're just going to continue on through page 53, 250, that's 253. And then on page 371, that's what it is. Then I just jump over to page 375. 352. I'm on the wrong page.
The holy hand grenade.
Okay, I've been like this all day. I called up Nancy,
Walton.
What's
her name?
She's a very good friend. Anyway, and I said, it's okay, I don't know, I was going to have a pizza delivered here, and she goes, well, I might not be here, and I said, it's okay, I won't have them deliver it before 5, and she goes, it's like 5:15. I'm like, oh yeah, well, 6. And then earlier today in one of my classes, I did the same thing. I was like, yeah, I'm going to let y'all go about 1, and they're like, it's 2. It's like, you know, 1:45. I was like, oh yeah, 2.
Well, time is only relative to the observer. So.
There you go. There you go. See? There you go. Okay, so let me go back to this. Page 252 and 253. Actually saying the same thing. He goes, I am. I am that I am, and I am it now. And I encourage you all to repeat that. And he says, now in different degrees, that is the entire secret of mysticism. And when that realization is attained, it gives you freedom.
And what page is that one?
This is on page 353. That's the only thing that does give you freedom, because in that I amness, there is no longer a desire for anything or anybody. There is no longer an ambition. There is no longer strife or struggle. There is resting in the realization that I am. Through that realization, everything necessary for our fulfillment, whether it's person, place, thing, circumstance, or condition, automatically flows into existence. And I know that you will rise more easily, rise to the mystical experience after you have made a specific practice of impersonalizing and nothingizing, right? Rest in the I am. And then on page 371, he says, which one was I wanting to read? Oh, because as mystics, this is your charge, right? From me, this is your charge. So, the function of a spiritual leader on this plane, and you are all spiritual leaders, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be in this class, you know, looking at how to become that. You already are. So the function of a spiritual leader on this plane is to lift the consciousness of individuals to that place where they can make contact with the divine within themselves. Part of the function of a spiritual leader is to instruct in the letter of the truth, but that is the least of the teacher's obligations. The major function of teachers is to live so high in consciousness that they lift those who come to them, and lift them high enough so that they may have access to the kingdom of God within their own being. And that is what I charge you to do as mystics. That is why we were here, is to discover that being within us, who we really are. And so that is what I want to leave you with. And then my thing is, from Susan Griffin in 1978, wrote a book called Women in Nature, The Roaring Inside Her. And it's the year I got sober. There were a couple of feminists that wrote kind of seminal works in 1978. Adrienne Rich wrote language. She wrote a book on language. Can't remember the exact name right now, damn it. And then Susan Griffin. And both of those books, Dream in the Common Language, is what Adrienne Rich wrote, Dream in the Common Language. And both of these books literally changed my life, because I was just an uneducated alcoholic and addict from the time I was like 11 and 12 until I was 21, and the year I got sober was 1978. And I have no idea how these came into my world at that time, but while I was in treatment, these were in my world. And so this is, this one is called The Wind. Some of you may have heard this before in the public speaking class. Oh, you didn't take the public speaking class, did you? Yeah, you were with me in public speaking. Yeah, and Nancy Walton.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and Ursula York. Yeah. So you've heard this perhaps before. Maybe another person hasn't here too, I don't know. But it starts with a quote by Margaret Atwood, and she says, "Ask who keeps the wind, ask what is sacred." And then Susan Griffin continues, and she says, "Yes, they say our fate is with the wind." The wind? Yes, they say when the wind blows this way, one thing will happen, and when it blows the other way, something else will be. Something else will be. Yes, these are the questions. Does the wind blow for us? This is what we must ask. Are we ready for this wind? Do we know what this wind will bring us? Will we take what the wind gives, or even know what is given when we see it? Will we see? Will we let the wind blow all the way through us? Will the wind know us? These are the questions to ask. Will we let the wind sing to us, and do our whole bodies listen? When the wind calls, will we go? Will this wind come inside us, take from us? Can we give to the wind what is asked of us? Will we let go? Are we afraid of this wind? Will we go where we are afraid to go? And will the wind ask us? This is the question. Are we close to the wind? Will the wind ask much of us? And will we be able to hear the wind singing? And will we answer? Can we sing back? This we ask. Can we sing back, and not only sing, but in clear voices? Will this be, we ask? And will we keep on answering, keep on with our whole bodies? And do we know why we sing? Yes. We will know why? Yes. And so, because that's all about the wind, pass those, I'll give these copies to you. This is my gift to you guys. Kind of like windy, but not really. These are bookmarks made of either willow or cedar, and they have different things, and you can pick the one that you like. So I'm just gonna lay them out here, and you can come get one.
I was hoping
Get
for
it
fairy
now.
wands.
Huh?
I was hoping for fairy wands.
You can use it as a fairy wand.
Well,
Oh, I wish it was. But anyway, so some of them, you know, there's some the same, and they're maple and cherry wood. So you can come get one. You can come now, and then we'll go on. Some of them lost their tag, so.
but that would mean I would have to read a book now.
No, you can hang it by your desk or on
Yeah.
your rearview mirror.
Technical manuals? I'm all there. Things that put other people to sleep.
That's a
This looks like a boyish
Oh,
one.
Make
A
sure you
boyish-
take
oh,
the
oh.
tape
The
that
tape.
goes with it,
Gotcha.
yeah.
It's very good. The oak, yeah, it's awesome.
I didn't have a tag.
Yeah, there's 3 tags there, so I don't know what, I can't see from here. Pick the one that resonates with you, and they're the same, basically. So that's that one, so that's a maple.
Awesome.
Where's your fruit? Cool.
Yeah, maple. The dark is
Nice.
the cherry.
And see, it has no words to put a thought in
Yeah,
your head.
cherry.
It is everything. It is nothingness. It is
He
the interspaces
says
between the
that this is a very significant grain pattern. It's called
You've got oak
burdock.
leaves.
Very, very
Me
dramatic.
too.
And the-
Yep.
Yeah,
Oakley, huh?
so, and these are cherry.
Reminds me.
You sure?
No, I'm not sure, but I was thinking.
You don't
maybe
want one, David?
Just 3.
Would you like one? Oh, you got one. I thought, I didn't see you jump up. That's cherry, so,
That's good.
all right.
Oh, yeah.
Money?
Good? You all got one? You're welcome.
Hold
What, this
Here,
is
then I
cherry?
got a whole
Oh,
lot.
no, I know it's not. Well, I don't know where I was going with
This
that.
looks willowy.
It does. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Grayson.
That's the person, I don't know what Steve is doing there. So, yeah, these were made by a co-worker of mine. And he sells them. He's so skilled with woodwork, it's amazing. But,
He's here in town.
he's in, yeah, he's kind of Waynesville area, yeah.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, he does all sorts of stuff.
They smell good.
Yeah, the cherry one does, doesn't it?
Oh, is that, I just got the best one.
Oh,
Oh, my God, I love this too.
Yeah, it's cherry wood.
No,
Yeah.
getting things and stuff.
So, kind of naturey and tree and windy. So, why don't you take, 5 minutes and just center, think about what you have done and accomplished through this class for yourselves. The level of preparation for these was just really astounding. And Barbara said, so how many you think are gonna, do the final project? And I was like, I think all of them. But not, and she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, this class is just amazingly participatory and strong. And she was like, they are. So, thank you for that. So why don't you take, yes?
I just wanted to say something about that exercise with the Post-its that we
Mhm.
did.
Night of the Dark Soul.
Yeah. So when we did that, what all came up to me was that, that the people and family and memories was really the only thing that couldn't be taken away. And it seems awfully obvious, but when it's put in your face like that, and it was very impactful for me. And so when we went to see my mom, she didn't, we went and did things. Usually my sister and I would go and do a little something during the day, but my mom is, she would get tired out and stuff, so she didn't go gallivanting with us. So the majority of the time, we were there, and I would sit and watch TV with her, which is really something, because I absolutely hate watching TV, and she watched the news so much, and it was hard to do, but I just felt that it was the best thing to do, because, you know, that's what she was doing, and instead of getting up and going visiting people, you know, other people, and doing stuff, touristy things, and I mean, we did do a few things, but a lot of the time it was just there in her house and spending time with her. So, and I don't know, I mean, maybe I would have done that anyway, but I kind of get the feeling that I probably wouldn't have just spent so much time just sitting with her if it wouldn't have been for your exercise.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's pretty, like, something.
I
Yay.
thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with Tracy. That's huge. Yeah.
Because of you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a great class, I think. So take like 5 minutes, write a new affirmation about where you want to go from here, or just let's center real quick and contemplate that for a few minutes. So let's, yes, Drew.
Just before we, sorry.
That's okay.
It's just an observation that our projects let us, we think we're going in one, and that we just get lost in these trails and it's little micro journeys going, and it circles back around. It's like, and we're all just like, yeah, okay. That's
Yeah.
what it's, you know, and it's just the journey. Of a million journeys. Yeah, just comes back around. Anyway.
And it all comes back to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's center. And let's breathe in. And breathe in the spirit of the divine. And exhale any doubt, discomfort. And breathe in, God. Exhale, ego. Let that go. Breathe in. And release. Just do that for a few minutes. Inhale God and exhale anything that doesn't resonate. Breathe in God and exhale. And breathe in love and exhale love. Breathe in peace and exhale peace.
What an amazing coincidence.
Everyone ready? Yes. Yeah? All right. So remember, let's listen and make sure we get it right. So yes you are, or yes as, so it is. Or what are we going to say?
We're going to wing
And
it.
so it is, or so you are, like that?
Yeah, all of it, yeah.
Okay, we're going to wing it. All right. Let's do it. Who would like to go first?
So you can,
What's that?
or so you can.
Or so you can?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you said, no, you can't.
What I created, I can recreate.
And
Yes, you can.
Very good. All right.
I am a well-pleased artist. I keep the channel open.
And
Yes,
Yes, you are.
And so it is.
With your hands.
Okay, let's try that again.
Yeah.
And so it
is.
is.
We still didn't do it.
We're doing. Okay, go.
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
I experience joy knowing truth.
Yes, you do. And so it is.
That's it. Okay, there we go. All right.
I am love, I am peace, I am power, I move forward with grace and strength knowing that I'm always fully supported.
Yes, you are. And so it is.
Right.
I am healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Yes, you are. And so it is.
I am that I am. I am grateful, success, brave, regenerative health, whole, Akashic wisdom, observing the empty space, a seeker, an asker, a deep breath of knowing and feeling. I am the I.
Yes, you are, and so it is.
I know that joy is my purpose, and I find it wherever I am. I shine my light.
Yes, you do, and so it is.
I allow my light to shine and I sparkle.
Yes, you do, and so it is.
Love this.
It's gonna be a
I
YouTube
move
sensation.
forward with confidence in beauty of the divine as me.
Yes, you do, and so it is.
Oh, I love that.
I know, right?
Ooh, so much energy. Well, does anyone want to say, add anything to the class before we close?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yay, Dr. Grayson.
So, with that, love and the energy, all that we know is present here now, and everything that goes into the basket is a symbol of that divine, knowing that it is acted upon, and so it is.
And so it is.